Okay, so I'm here in Riverstone with Jamie Mauro. Is that how it's pronounced, your last name? Jamie was in the coulees about a week and a half ago, flying kites, if I understand, up on the coulee ridges here in Riverstone, and was bitten by and envenomated by a rattlesnake. I say bitten and envenomated because sometimes there's dry bites. If you were lucky.
I wasn't.
But you were bitten and envenomated. So I asked Jamie if I could come by and interview her about her experience, because very, very few people are bitten in Lethbridge, although we do have a large snake population and the opportunity for bites is definitely there. I myself am interested in learning more about what the experience is like being bitten. And so maybe, Jamie, if you could walk us through like what happened and what was it like, to be bitten? What was the level of pain?
Okay, well,
and
I'll tell you my story, I guess.
Yeah, the whole story.
Okay, so we were just flying kites with my kids, and all of a sudden I felt, we were right along the path, I guess, but there was like obviously grass or whatever on each side.
Right.
But so we were flying kites, and all of a sudden I felt a sharp jabbing pain into my ankle. So I lifted up my foot, and I had 2 marks that were like bleeding, and beyond my foot there was a rattlesnake. So I started screaming, and my husband told me to go run back to the road. And as I was going back to the road, I phoned 911. And within about 11 minutes, my whole body was totally numb, almost like it fell asleep. Like it wasn't as though I couldn't feel anything, it was almost like it was tingling. And they took me to the hospital and gave me, over the course of 48 hours, gave me 14 vials of anti-venom. And yeah, so I'm still using a walker. I took 2 steps yesterday, which is great.
Right.
But it's been a week and a half, and I'm still not walking very good, and my whole leg got swollen and it moved up into my thigh. So they monitored me there in ICU just to make sure I didn't have like an anaphylactic reaction to anything.
Right.
So
yeah, the EMT and fire called me that evening.
Oh, okay.
When they were going there to pick you up. Well, I think they were on the scene when they phoned, and they wanted to know whether I needed to come down and find the snake. And I told, well, it's in the coulees there. That's where they live, right? So that's where they belong. And then I think your husband called me the next morning.
Yeah.
Because there were some issues at the hospital about whether or not they were going to cut your leg to
relieve pressure.
Yeah. And so that your skin just didn't tear. That's a lot more difficult to deal with for them than if they cut it.
Right.
So when you say it was a sharp pain, and then your body went kind of numb and tingly. So have you been like stung by a bee?
Yeah.
Okay. Like how is the comparison of the pain?
There is no comparison. It's almost like a shard of glass went into my leg, is I guess how I would describe it. No, very painful.
Does the pain stay localized, or did the pain travel?
No, the pain stayed localized into my lower part of my leg though. Like it was pretty much in my ankle, but when I got to emerge, one of the doctors kept touching my calf, and that was very, very, very tender. Yeah.
And your leg swelled up by the time you got to the hospital, or later?
No, it was already swelling in the ambulance. Yeah.
Okay.
And my face, like it felt like it was out to here, but I asked the EMT or the paramedic, I asked if my face was out to there, because it felt like it was, because I couldn't even really talk super good because my tongue was tingling, my teeth, my gums, but it wasn't swollen. It was just tingling, I guess. So.
Yeah, you seem to have had a pretty strong reaction.
Yeah.
Because even you had Profab as your antivenom, I imagine, and 14 vials is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard people getting. Well, I've heard people getting 14, but that's a significant.
I think they said protocol. I don't know if that's for Southern Alberta or if it's for Alberta. I have no idea. But protocol is 10 to 12 vials. So I'm not sure why they did 14, but
Well, probably because you were still swelling.
Right.
Because when I messaged, after I talked to your husband, I messaged the Kentucky Reptile Zoo folks because I wanted to know whether cutting to relieve pressure was a normal thing with rattlesnake bites. And they told me she needs more antivenom. So that maybe that's why the hospital,
Right.
why the doctors
yeah,
give you more. But I think I'm going to give them, the hospital, some of the contacts at Kentucky Reptile Zoo because
no, and I contacted them after you texted Mike
right.
that info, and I contacted them the next day after I was home, and they were wonderful.
Yeah.
Like they gave so much information, like this is what could still happen, like you could still get swelling, like fluid filled areas in your leg, into your bum, into your lower back. You could get bruising spots, and that's all normal.
Right.
So it was nice to know all of that.
Right. And you're still nursing a baby, right?
Well, I'm not now, but yes, I was.
Right.
Yeah.
So how long do you have to wait before you can go back to that?
You have to wait 4 days for the anti-venom to be out of your system. So that would have been Friday night, I guess it would have been. But I was pumping in the hospital and my milk was actually green.
Yeah.
So they suggested, like, just sort of hold off and see. But I'm now on an antibiotic that my doctor prescribed me. And so with this antibiotic, you can't nurse anyway. So I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Were you aware that there were snakes in the coulees here before you were out doing the
Yes,
pipeline?
but I didn't feel like that was the coulees. I thought the river bottom was the coulees and maybe Paradise Canyon. I didn't realize we had them in Riverstone because I probably wouldn't have been there because we go there with my kids probably 4 nights a week.
Right.
We always go riding bikes or go for walks or,
Yeah.
And I have young kids, and so I know for my one boy, he goes and runs around, and like I wouldn't have even taken them out there had I known that, to be honest.
If we had more signs out
Yes.
here at Riverstone,
Yeah.
it would have been helpful.
Huge, yeah. Even just to say, like, whatever, caution, rattlesnakes, whatever. Like, I don't need to know exactly where they are, but just so that I know, because I probably would have paid attention to where I was walking every time we've been there, or something, right? I honestly had no idea that there was rattlesnakes over here.
Yeah, there's a couple of, well, I know of a couple of dens here at Riverstone, and there may be more than that. I think.
Right.
And they get around, like I've seen some of the male snakes from here at Riverstone over at the University of Lethbridge looking for female snakes.
Right.
So
Right.
they travel a bit,
Right.
And the ones from Pops or Paradise probably can travel over here too.
Right.
So there's snakes around.
Right.
And
Well, and I know since this has happened, like I've tried to make people aware as well, because and we live with them everywhere around us, and we have no idea. Like I didn't even know you had to phone 911 immediately.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea. I didn't even know that this could happen.
Right.
So even that is good to like be aware if you do get bit, phone 911 immediately.
Yeah.
And but since this has happened, I've talked to a lot of people, and even one of my friends lives in Sunridge, and I think you got one last week in her alley.
Oh yeah.
And so, she said I had no idea that there were any in Sunridge.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we just don't know, because I guess I feel like signs would help huge.
Right.
yeah, especially just, at least along the coulee edge here, because we have signs in Pops and Park, but it's not just in the park where you find the
Right,
snakes,
of course, right.
So, and even like Sunridge is such a new subdivision. That was all snake territory for millions of years until
Right.
just like 5 years ago,
Right,
So
right.
they're still around. I found a pair mating right off the edge of the sidewalk by the Max convenience
Oh.
store. I picked up one earlier this summer on the edge of that pond that they have in the
Yeah.
middle of the subdivision there,
Yeah.
and then the one in the alley the other.
Yeah,
They're around, and they're around here in Riverstone too. Every summer I pick up some right in the middle of the neighborhood
Right,
here too. So.
right. And then what do you do with them? You just put them back into their areas?
Yeah, the way that because it's a protected species, we can't
Yeah,
kill them or anything like
Yeah.
that, and that wouldn't be my gig anyway. But what Fish and Wildlife, the protocol is, I'm supposed to bring them back to the nearest known hibernacula.
Okay.
So I know where there's several different this is the winter dens.
Yeah.
I know where there's several different dens around the west side. Here at Riverstone, I know 2 of them. So if I find one in Riverstone, I generally bring it back
Oh, okay.
to the den area. I might not bring it right to the den because I'm always worried that people are going to be watching me and
Yeah.
they'll find out where the dens are. And it's dangerous for the snakes because there still are people that would, happily go pour some gasoline down the hole.
Well, and dangerous for the people too, right? If they
Yeah.
have a kid with them, or if they,
That's right.
or
you can get somebody that wants to go check out the snakes and
right.
they go hang around. And the snakes can be so camouflaged if you're around the den site and you're not protected. Yeah, it's really easy to get bit.
Well, even this snake, like it was honestly the color of the grass because it was partly on the path, partly on the grass,
Right.
and it was seriously like the greeny, yellowy color of the grass.
Yep. Yeah, it blends right
Yeah.
in. I've taken people to show them snakes, and I can have 3 snakes in front of them, and they can't see them.
Yeah.
I can be told it's right there,
Yeah.
and they don't see. It
Yeah.
takes them a
No,
while
I was
for their
amazed
eyes
at the
to
color. Uh-huh.
adjust.
Yeah.
So there are protective measures you can take if you're down in the coulees. Like I think it's important. One of the things that I thought about with the experience you've had, is it's important for people in Lethbridge to distinguish between, a city park where you can do things like fly kites
Right.
safely,
Right.
and the coulees, which are really a wilderness area,
Mhm.
right? And people need to be aware. I mean, even here in Riverstone last year, we had a wolverine.
Right.
Come
Right.
through.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember that. Yeah.
So it really is a wilderness area, and there are things to do in the wilderness for recreation different than what you would do in other parks. So I wanted to include in this video my recommendations if people are out in the coulees. You have to maintain an awareness at the very
Oh,
least.
definitely.
Yeah, maintain an awareness, and if you're concerned about being bitten by a rattlesnake, the best way to avoid being bitten is, well, one, you can carry a stick in front of you to kind of, make sure you alert the snake, because a lot of times they'll be sleeping. If it was beside the path, it was probably, and it was the evening, so it was probably trying to get some warmth
Right.
off of the concrete there, and it could have been just completely asleep and not
Right.
knowing you were there.
Right.
The snake's first defense is always just to sit still. And so a lot of times, we move so quickly, we'll be on top of them before they even think to rattle.
Right.
And I kind of have a pet theory actually myself, that because there's been more than a century of persecution of the snakes. People have been, since colonization of this area, people have been killing snakes. The protocol in Lethbridge up to 10 years ago was, if you see a snake, you kill it, right? So in all that time, you got to think how many generations of snakes, and the snakes that alert people the most get killed, right? So the generations we're left with here are probably the ones that are less anxious to alert you to their presence.
Right.
So there's that. So using a stick just to alert the snake that you're there, and hopefully it'll alert you.
Right.
And then there's also, you can just wear a little bit of protective clothing. Like you got bit right on your ankle, right?
Yeah, I was wearing flip-flops and shorts.
Right. Well, that's, to be, like if you watch my videos, you'll see I'm always just in sandals and shorts.
Right.
But I'm very aware of, like I've got an eye for snakes.
Right.
And it's not that I'm completely safe from being bitten too. I've had some close encounters, not with any of the ones that I go to relocate, but out in the coulees when I'm dropping them off, I've sometimes come very close to getting bit by snakes because I just didn't see them and stepped too close. So in those situations, just wearing a little bit of protective footwear, and some people will take even like cowboy boots.
Oh yeah.
Or so, and if you don't want to wear the pointy-toed cowboy boots, just buy a used pair and crop the top off of them and wear them as kind of a gaiter. You can romp all around the coulees and not worry about being bitten.
Right.
things like that.
Or you can just avoid them,
Yeah,
100%.
you cannot go to the
Not going to
coulees.
coulees anymore.
But if you have if you enjoy nature or whatever,
Right.
and you want to go
Right.
bird watching or nature watching or picking berries or what have you, there's some easy ways at least
Right.
you can protect yourself. And people need to be aware that it's not just the coulees.
No, exactly.
Right.
That's exactly my point. No, exactly.
Yeah, so you can be in your backyard here in Riverstone, and if you have some landscaping in your backyard where you can't see where your hands are going
Right.
under bushes and that kind of thing, it's dangerous.
Right.
So always try to be aware of where you're putting your hands.
Yeah.
So, and you're still in a walker today.
Yeah.
How is your recovery going? Do you think you're going to be?
Well, I was
On your leg
hoping
again soon?
hoping to be walking by yesterday,
Right.
but that isn't really the case. So I'm hoping by the end of this week.
Right.
Yeah, I've taken a couple steps and I'm trying to use it more, but it sure hurts.
It's okay.
And it's just so swollen, like my ankle joint is just so swollen, so I can't really bend my foot at a 90-degree angle with my leg, so it's hard to fully walk.
Right.
But so hopefully by the weekend I'm on the mend, but yeah, it's been a long process.
Jeez.
Longer than I ever would have known. Like I didn't know a snake could do this
Right.
type of damage.
Yeah, and just such a little thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad it was.
I hate to say, but I'm glad it was you, not one of your children.
You know what? I say that every day, and so does everyone else. So no, I'm so glad it was me and not a kid. Yeah, yeah.
You don't feel any you don't hate the snakes now, do you?
Oh yeah, I hate
You
them.
hate them?
No, I don't even like, not a garter snake, not nothing. Not that I liked them before, but now I'm terrified of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not going back in the coulees this year?
No, not this year. I'm not. Maybe next year.
Next year?
Yeah. Not this year. No.
And that's the other, dogs in the coulees.
Yes.
Running your dog off leash in the coulees, really bad idea. Yeah, a lot of people aren't aware of that. So yeah, I'm hoping that through this, I'll be talking with the city and get some more signs.
No, that would be great. That would be great.
Especially here in Riverstone, because this is a Lethbridge subdivision. So we have we shouldn't have any political problems putting signs up.
Right.
There are some areas where the subdivisions are still underdeveloped that the developers don't want to advertise that
Right.
they're snakes.
Right.
Because snakes don't sell houses.
Right.
But
No, and I mean, like I said, we go there. I mean, I'm sure 4 nights a week with the kids. So,
Right.
and it's always a busy path. Like there's tons of people that walk that every day.
yeah,
So it would be great for people to see that, because honestly, up until this, I didn't even think a rattlesnake could be there.
right.
So
Good.
yeah.
So anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so.
Well, thank you for talking with
Yeah,
me and sharing the
thanks.
story. I think it is gonna. When I put this out on the page, I'm pretty sure it's gonna get shared around a lot, and which is the reason, right?
Yes.
We want to raise
No,
awareness.
I need awareness. Yeah.
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 Great.
So
Thank you.
thank you.